and this was a place called Bo Vieng, which is the main walking street. Very different vibe again to Thailand and to Bangkok. Hey, what is up guys? This is Brett here from brettdev.com and welcome back to the channel. Now, over the years, so many people have reached out to me and asked me, Brett, if you weren't staying in Thailand, where would you go? Where is a good alternative to Thailand? Where is a good alternative to Chiang Mai for digital nomads? Where's a good place to stay that's cheap, that has affordable cost of living, and all the great stuff that Thailand has? One of the main countries that comes up is Vietnam. Now, I've been to Vietnam a few times before. I've been to Hanoi, I've been to Da Nang, but one place I'd never been is Ho Chi Minh City. And I never really made any videos comparing Thailand to Vietnam because I never really felt qualified to do so. Unless I'd been to the three major places in Vietnam, how can I give an opinion on the country? Especially when the country is so different depending on where you go, the north and the south. So if you follow the channel, you'll see that I made a post on my community tab a few weeks back and I basically said, hey, can anybody recommend a good place or good places to go in Ho Chi Minh? Because I went there. I went there to figure out if Ho Chi Minh City, if Vietnam is a good alternative to Thailand. So today in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my first impressions of Ho Chi Minh City, and I'm going to make a couple more videos after this video where I'm going to dig into, co-working spaces. Is it suitable for digital nomads and all of that stuff? I went around and made loads of videos. I checked out tons of co-working spaces, and over the coming videos, I'm going to share all of that with you. So to start with, why did I go to Ho Chi Minh City and why not Da Nang or Hanoi? Well, like I said, I've already been to Da Nang, I've already been to Hanoi, and it was the smoky season in Chiang Mai. I looked online, the air here was really bad pollution, and for 2,000 baht, I got a flight directly from Chiang Mai to Ho Chi Minh City. It's a 2-hour flight and it cost me 2,000 baht each way. So you're talking like $60 to get there, $60 to get back. And that is one of the most amazing things about living in Thailand, about living in Chiang Mai. It has an international airport and you can get to almost anywhere in Southeast Asia for relatively cheap. I'm staying inside of District 1. So, like I said, I just booked it yesterday. I didn't really have that much time to do a lot of research, but I looked online. People said online District 1 was the place to stay. So that's where I'm at District 1. It seems very busy. It seems like downtown Bangkok. My hotel was just around the corner and I've just booked an Airbnb that is not just around the corner, but it's not a problem. I'll take a grab down to check into the Airbnb. I got a grab here from the airport last night, which was... No, I didn't get a grab, I got a taxi. Sorry, I'm very tired. Construction this morning, just did not sleep. I got a taxi from the airport, a meter taxi. I made sure to get in one that had a meter, and I think it cost me about 300 baht. Which was I think about 200,000 Vietnamese dong to get from the airport to my hotel, which wasn't too bad. Accommodation was fairly cheap. It was kind of on par with Bangkok. I think I paid about 1,000 baht per night for a room, and I stayed in this really nice place. There was a it was kind of like a coffee shop slash co-working space homestay. That's what they called it, but it felt like a hotel. It didn't really feel like... I don't know why they call it a homestay, because it didn't really feel like you're staying in somebody's home. You were actually staying in a coffee shop. It was a coffee shop that had separate bedrooms. And actually, it may have been less than 1,000 baht. It may have been about 800 baht, because I booked it on Airbnb. If you want to stay in this place, what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the description, but it was absolutely awesome, especially if you want to go there and you want to work on your laptop and you want to get stuff done. You're right in the middle of a coffee shop. It's like you're in a co-working space and your hotel is there at the same time. So this place was amazing. The people there were so nice. I would definitely recommend staying there if it's your first time in Ho Chi Minh City. The location was really central. Could get to everywhere from the city. I highly recommend, if you're going to come to Thailand or if you're going to go to Vietnam, to use Airbnb, especially if you're going to be staying longer than one night. You get some really good deals, and like you get stuff that you just don't get in a hotel. For example, when I checked into here, you get a big message telling you all the good places to check out. Like, people really try and help you out a lot. And Airbnbs in Thailand and in Vietnam, they generally aren't like in someone's house, like, which I think you get a lot of the time in the West. Like, a lot of the times you'll get an actual hotel room or an actual serviced apartment, like a full apartment, that's just in an apartment building, which is way bigger, way better, and less expensive than a hotel. But essentially you're getting kind of like a hotel suite for the price of less than a single room in a hotel. Airbnb is definitely the way to go. I would say for anywhere between, a few days up into a month,
it's worth a stay. After that, if you're going to stay somewhere longer, then you might want to look for, long-term accommodation or whatever. But yeah, Airbnb is the way to go. Trust me.
And speaking of getting to everywhere, the way I got around in Ho Chi Minh City is the exact same way that you can get around in Thailand. So they have Grab taxi. It's so cheap. It's really cheap. I was paying like probably 30, 40, 50 baht to get like to different places. Well, I think one day I got like 4 or 5 Grabs in a row, just hopping on Grab motorbikes to get here and there. One of the first places I went to check out in Ho Chi Minh City was the War Remnants Museum. So I've heard a lot of stuff about this.
Apparently, there's a bunch of scammers that sit around out the front, and apparently what they do is they'll come up to you and like be really nice to you, and then just give you a coconut for free, and then try and charge you like fucking 15 quid for the coconut or something. I read that on Google just before I come here. So anyway, we're going to go in, we're going to get a ticket and walk around. There's a big US Army helicopter, I think it's a Chinook, right in front of you, right as you can see it right off of the street. So I can't wait to get inside. Apparently it's really morbid and depressing, but we shall see. Tickets, I think, are about 50,000 dong, which is not expensive at all. You're looking at a few bucks. So yeah, let's go in and check it out.
It wasn't as big as I thought it would be, but it was very, very interesting. It was kind of like walking through a book. You know, most of the museum was just like photos and writings all on the walls and things like that. The most impressive part of the museum was all of the military equipment that's out the front. They've got huge artillery guns. I never realized how big these artillery guns were in person. I've never seen them in real life. They've got the helicopters, they've got the aeroplanes that were flown in the Vietnam War. Super interesting place to check out. I have been to the museum in Hanoi. Now, I always thought the museum in Hanoi would be focused on the Vietnam War. It's actually more focused on the French occupation. The one in Ho Chi Minh City, where I just got back from, that's focused on the Vietnam War. Overall, it was a really good experience. I highly recommend you go there. Now, the people in Vietnam I found very interesting compared to the people in Thailand. Like, the people are so much more extrovert, they're so much more outspoken. Just one day when I was out filming co-working spaces, I was walking back through a park and I actually got approached by 3 different people. All came up to me within the space of probably 30 minutes wanting to talk to me. I sat on a bench, had somebody come sit down next to me, start talking to me, ask me where I'm from. Pretty much just wanting to practice his English, he said. As I was walking back through the park, I had a group of university girls that were out trying to find foreigners to practice English on, to do something for their class, their project. They said, hey, can we interview you and ask you like where you're from? To kind of practice our English and submit this to our class. I said, yeah, sure, why not? So I did that, and I thought that'd be some cool footage to throw into this video. And then from there, I kept walking through the park, and somebody approached me, another Vietnamese guy, and started asking me about my camera. Where did I get my camera from? Because I was filming on an Osmo Pocket, and he was like, wow, that's really small. I've never seen one before. Asked me where I got it, how much did it cost? So, you know, you never really get those type of interactions in Thailand. People are very to themselves. People don't really come up and talk to you that much, which I found was really nice about Ho Chi Minh City. One other thing I would say about Ho Chi Minh City as well with regards to the people, they're a lot different than the people in Hanoi. Now, my experience of Hanoi, I found the people to be, quite frankly, a little bit rude, a little bit standoffish. Complete opposite in Ho Chi Minh City. In Ho Chi Minh City, the people were so friendly, so laid back. You could really see the difference in how they acted, how they dressed, their whole entire vibe. Perhaps it's the American influence, I'm not too sure, but you can see a stark difference between the people in the north and the south. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, I've never really made any videos comparing Vietnam because based off my experience in Hanoi, I would have given a completely different opinion, right? So the people in the different places are very different. And like I say, I never really felt qualified to talk about Vietnam on the whole until I'd experienced like all 3 major places in the country, being Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh City. I mentioned Da Nang because it's kind of a hotspot for digital nomads. Now, the food in Ho Chi Minh was, again, really cheap, probably on par with Thailand, if not cheaper, depending on what you eat. So it's very similar to Thailand. If you're going to eat foreign food, if you're going to eat like hamburgers and chips, you're going to be paying like, I don't know, maybe 200-300 baht, similar to what you'd pay in Bangkok, really. If you're going to eat Vietnamese food, I tried pho bo, which is their famous soup. I ate loads of banh mi's. If you've been to Vietnam, you know what banh mi's about. It's just kind of like a French baguette with like meat and salad in it. Loads of those. You're talking like $1 a meal, basically. Very cheap, very similar prices to Thailand. Overall, the cost of living, the prices I was paying, and bearing in mind I was in District 1, I was in the main area of the city, so it's kind of like being in the heart of Bangkok. Overall, I found the prices to be comparable to Bangkok, pretty much exactly the same, if not maybe a little bit cheaper. I did go out in the evening. I did check out the nightlife scene, and the alcohol was definitely cheaper than in Thailand. You're talking like $1 a beer, pretty much, $1 to $2 a beer. Now, the nightlife scene was pretty crazy and pretty intense. I did get a lot of footage from the nightlife scene, and this was a place called Bo Vieng, which is the main walking street. Very different vibe again to Thailand and to Bangkok. What I liked about it wasn't so much like, if you go out in the heart of Bangkok, if you go to Sukhumvit, if you go down Nana, any place in Thailand, I mean, it's fun because they have like the lady bars and the girls and things like that, but sometimes it can be a little bit too much, you know. In Vietnam, what I loved about Ho Chi Minh City and the nightlife there was that, you know, it wasn't all that in your face. I mean, you could see that it did exist a little bit on the fringes. Like, I suppose you could, you know, get involved with that if you wanted to, but that wasn't what the whole nightlife was about. The whole nightlife was more like good live music, people having a good time. Now, the only complaints I would really have about Ho Chi Minh City was the noise. Like, it was so noisy. Outside my hotel room, I had like a digger, like trying to knock down a wall, and I woke up in the middle of the night about 2 a.m. and I was like, what the hell is that noise? It must be like, is there some kind of recycling plant next to the hotel or something? I don't know if you can hear that. That woke me up at 2 a.m. Let me show you what that is. Literally a fucking gigantic digger outside the window. And I was laying there, and this went on from like 2 till 5 to 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So the noise started at 2 a.m. and they just were, well, I opened the window and it was a digger, like I say, doing construction outside my window. They started at 2 a.m. There are no rules for noise there. They'll dig through the middle of the night. They'll knock a wall down outside your window right in the middle of the night, and they'll do it all night. The noise was insane. There's so many people, it's so noisy. That would be my only complaints about Ho Chi Minh City. The city itself, I would say, it kind of reminds me of like a raw, grittier version of Bangkok. There's not much in terms of public transport that I saw. There's buses and things. There's no sky trains. I didn't think there was any underground subway system. There might be, but I didn't see any. It seems like a much more underdeveloped Bangkok. Like if you went back, like, I don't know, 50 years. And I suppose it's probably because the country's been ravaged by war and they haven't just kind of kept up with the same development pace as Thailand. But I really like that. I really like the nitty-gritty, the raw feel of a place like Ho Chi Minh City. Overall, if I wasn't living in Thailand, would I choose to live there? Absolutely. I think it's such an awesome place. It's so exciting. There's so much going on. Like I said, it's like a nitty-gritty version of Bangkok. I think it's actually, personally, I think it's more interesting than Bangkok. In my experience there, now it may be because I've been to Bangkok a lot and maybe I'm a little bit tired of it, but for me, Ho Chi Minh City was lively, it was energetic, it was really, really super interesting. I'm definitely going to be going back there. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I'm going to be making more videos on this channel comparing whether or not Vietnam is actually a good place for digital nomads specifically. Like if you're there, if you want to work on your laptop, how's the internet? If you want to get work done, is it stable? What's the power situation like? Can it be done as easily as it's done in Thailand? I'm going to be making videos about that topic, so if you want to see them, then make sure you subscribe. And also, if you want to discuss Vietnam, I've got some threads over in Nomad School. That's my online community where I kind of shared my experiences from my trip. There are other people in the community that actually live in Vietnam that are, you know, sharing information. You can find all of that out by clicking here and going to Nomad School. And if you like this video, guys, make sure you check out this video right here. Overall, Ho Chi Minh City, a big, big thumbs up from me. Thanks for watching.